Sports Talk with Player Agent 3. My next guest, a former All-Pro fullback with the Carolina Panthers, San Diego Chargers, and the Buffalo Bills, Mr. Mike Tolbert. How's it going?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good, man. How you been?
I've been all right, man. How you and the family dealing with this COVID-19?
We dealing good. You know, we haven't really been out of the house a whole lot, since it all started. But we starting to venture out a little bit more. Got our masks and stuff like that hanging in the rear view. So every time we leave out the house, we put them on. There's a lot of bike rides and basketball with the kids out front. That's about it.
All right, man. Douglasville, Georgia, man. That's where you grew up, man. Talk about growing up in Douglasville in terms of how football impacted your life.
I mean, yeah, Douglasville is about 15 minutes west, on the west side of Atlanta. In Douglasville, there was not a lot of other stuff going on other than sports. Obviously you had your crime and all that good stuff, but I mean, either you played sports or you was in the streets. So me and majority of my friends, we stayed on our bikes riding around. We played football, we played basketball together, and it gave us the opportunity to get our aggression out. I grew up without a father in the home, so I treated all my coaches as my surrogate fathers. You know what I mean? So I learned respect for men that way.
Mm-hmm. Growing up, did you look at sports as a way out? Not just football. It could be any sport. Did you look at that as a way of getting out of your situation?
I didn't. I really played it for the love of the game. I loved playing football. I loved playing basketball. I played baseball. I did it all. I just loved playing sports. I really didn't look at it as a means to an end until I got probably in high school. But like growing up in middle school, elementary school, I just loved to play the game. But once I got to high school and I got that first letter from Southern Miss, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on the way.
Talking about high school, man, how was it for you in high school playing football? Were you a heavily recruited player?
I mean, not really. No, I mean, I had a lot of small school offers. I only had two big school offers, both of them there in the state of Georgia. I had a full ride from Georgia Tech and a partial from Georgia. Couldn't do the partial because obviously my mama was working 2 and 3 jobs, just to make ends meet and to let me and my sister do the things that we wanted to do. So I wasn't gonna put that type of burden, on my mama on top of everything else she'd been doing. And Georgia Tech was where I wanted to be. My aunt had went and graduated from Georgia Tech, so that was a place that I held near and dear. And then in the 5th hour, they turned around and took my scholarship away, gave it to another cat. Wow. So I made do with it, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So being athlete, you always you want to be able to be highly recruited and go to these big time schools, man. Did you have a chip on your shoulder when you ultimately chose Coastal Carolina, but did you have a chip on your shoulder going to Coastal?
I didn't. I didn't have a chip because when I went on my visit, they really sold me on I was going to be there to help build a foundation for the future of that program. My first year there was the second year of existence ever in the Coastal Carolina football history. You know what I mean? So I was able to help put my foot down in the cement, and build something that is going to last for a long time. I mean, I like to think that I always played with a chip on my shoulder. I kind of got like a little nasty streak in my game, and I kind of live life with that. I'm the short fat guy that nobody believed in. So I've always been a little aggressive, so to speak, but you either learn to love me or you learn to hate me, but I don't really care which one it is.
Right, and you definitely put some work in at Coastal Carolina. Did you feel like when you were at Coastal and you were putting in that work, did you feel like you were getting your just due from the outside?
I I've always said that I ain't gonna speak on this no more, but when I was at Coastal, same time, Jerome Felton was at Furman, and he was getting all the accolades. He was getting, and I'm just saying, like, man, I'm better than this dude. Like, what is it? I mean, he's first team all conference. I'm second team. He's first team all American. I'm second team. He's up for the Walter Payton Award. And I'm honorable mention. And I'm like, what is it? Like, this dude ain't that good. But then I started to realize, like, I'm just being prepared, for the next level. And then also he was in an offense where he got the ball 35 times a game, and I got it 6. You know what I mean? Still putting up the same numbers, but I had to do more with my opportunity. So, I mean, I didn't feel like I was getting my just due from people outside of Coastal Carolina. Obviously, my coaches and teammates knew the kind of value I brought to the team, but everybody else, it took time to see it.
Talking about the next level, when did you realize that you could actually play on the next level? Was this something your freshman season? Is this something that you always felt like you could play on the next level, or was it a certain point at Coastal where you felt like you could play in the league?
Well, when I went to Coastal, my main objective was to get a degree and graduate and get a job. You know what I mean? I had no aspirations of playing in the NFL. Not saying that I didn't want to. I've always been realistic. I look at reality, and reality is 0.005 people that play college sports make it. You know what I mean? So I really didn't see the potential until my junior season, when I pretty much just broke out and just started having, like, just balling. But I remember one of my teammates, well, 2 of my teammates were represented by an agent named Joel Turner. And the Dallas Cowboys had a scout that was at one of our practices or something. Tyler Thigpen and Quentin Till both were represented by him. And Dallas Cowboys had a scout at one of our practices. And, Joel was out there, and he was talking to the scouts, and then I guess the scout was talking to Coach Bennett, who was our head coach, and he said, so tell me a little bit about your team, who's the best players out here, we just want to know for future references. And he pointed at me, he said, that guy's right here is the best football player you'll ever meet. He's the best football player on this field, and probably will be. You know what I mean? And the scout sat there and told Coach Bennett, who wants a 5'9", 245-pound fullback? And when Coach Bennett told me that, I didn't have a chip on my shoulder because of it. I had, like, gratitude, because for you to know who I was and study me enough to know my stats, you know what I mean? It made me feel like, okay, they know who I am. They just gonna try to make me push harder. And that's what I did.
Okay, so you go undrafted in the 2000 draft, but you signed a contract with the San Diego Chargers. Can you take me back to that day when you got that phone call? I mean, again, there's that proverbial chip on your shoulder because you didn't get drafted. Can you take me back to that night and what was going through your mind?
Yeah, so I mean, we had a huge barbecue at my house in Myrtle Beach. All my family was up there, my roommates. We just had because we were graduating around the same time too. So we just had a really big get together during the draft, and what's ironic is that we had a huge poster of LaDainian Tomlinson on our wall, at our house. And, during the draft, third round comes, and then Atlanta Falcons call, fourth round comes, and Tennessee calls, and then fifth round comes, San Diego calls, and all of them are saying the same thing. We're going to draft him with our next pick if such and such happens, but nothing ever happened. And then during the 7th round, San Diego called and said, hey, look, things didn't fall our way, but he's our preferred free agent. He's our number 1 guy as soon as this draft is over with. So I was like, okay, I mean, I still didn't care where I went as long as I went somewhere. And Sure enough, I mean, as soon as that Mr. Irrelevant pick was announced, my phone was ringing, and it was AJ Smith on the phone. He was like, "You ready to be a Charger?" And I was like, "Man, send me the contract. I'm on the way."
So, yeah. So going back to that, man, it's obvious that you balled out with the Chargers, man, and people began to know who you were.
Right.
What did that do for your confidence?
I mean, to be honest, I've always been confident in my ability, whether it's been pee wee ball or middle school, or high school, college, or whatnot. I've always been confident in my ability. I tell the story of my first day in the building in San Diego. I run into Sean Merriman, Antonio Gates, and I'm looking at them like, "Damn, these the cats I got to go against and play with. I'm ready." You know what I'm saying? I was excited. And then I remember in the training camp of my rookie year, LT had been being blocked for by a Hall of Fame caliber fullback in Lorenzo Neal. And in training camp my rookie year, North Turner was the head coach, but he was also calling plays. And I never forget, he kept calling Jack Wright, 40 power, Jack Wright, 40 power, Jack Wright, 20 ISO. You know what I mean? So I was lead blocking, just banging my head against the wall like 4 or 5 straight plays. And when the drill was done, LT comes up to me. He was like, "Young fella, if you do that, you can block for me all year long, anytime you want." And that little bit of conversation he just had was enough to shoot my confidence through the roof. So.
Yeah, and it showed, man. You like I said, you put some major work in San Diego, and you were rewarded with the deal with the Carolina Panthers in 2012. I mean, you're close to Douglasville, Georgia, and Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, what did that feel like to be able to come back, that close to home and play in front of family and friends?
I mean, it felt good because, I have a huge network in the Charlotte area. A lot of my friends that I went to college with, live here, so to be able to talk to them week in and week out while I was in California was great. But to be able to, move here and have them come to the games and support and come to the house and just play spades and, just have that camaraderie that I had while I was in school, it was special, and then having my family a 4-hour drive away as opposed to a 4.5, 5-hour flight. I think it went really, really well. I think things went the way they were supposed to.
Yeah, and Charlotte is where you got your roses, man. You were all pro in Charlotte. You made the Pro Bowl a couple of times. What what type of reception did you get from the fans?
Oh, they loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like they love me out here. I mean, I can still go places and people be like, "Told those," or like they still scream my name because I'm not that far removed from it. You know what I mean? But like people still show love out here a lot. You know what I mean? Which I'm grateful for because I did put in a lot of work. But it's fun to see people. Like I was just at the golf store the other day getting some golf balls, and as soon as I handed the guy my card, he was like, "Tolbert. Told those, what's up, buddy?" You know what I'm saying? Like people recognize and realize, but at the same time, they show love and respect.
What would you say the difference is? I mean, the success you had in Charlotte with the Panthers versus playing in San Diego. Why were you able to be more successful with Carolina than with the Chargers, in your estimation?
I would say the fan base is different. You know what I mean? Like in San Diego, the fan base it's very widespread. Whether it's very widespread, whether it's people that don't necessarily follow football but like sports, or it's different sports fans. And San Diego is huge in soccer. You know what I mean? So whether it's different sports fans, whether it's what am I trying to say? They there's a lot of Raiders fans in San Diego. There's a lot of Rams fans in San Diego. Because it's so close to LA right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, the fans in San Diego aren't the most diehard. You know, here in Carolina, this team was just born 25, 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody is loving this team right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this is all they know. It's the only sports franchise they got other than the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? So
when you ended with the Carolina Panthers, do you feel like the team gave up on you, or they just wanted to go younger or in a different direction?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there is how do I say this? Because, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm not one to mix words. You know what I mean? There is a sense of I did this in the person that let me go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So after I left Carolina and went to Buffalo, what's his name? Dave Gettleman was the general manager, and then he let myself go. He let Josh Norman go. You know, he let people go that were coming off all Pro Bowl caliber seasons. Like, he let me go after I made the Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really? And then the statement that he made when I was talking to him and Coach Rivera was, we feel like your skills have deteriorated. And I'm sitting here like, damn, 5 touchdowns as a fullback, you know what I mean? Making the Pro Bowl, but my skills have deteriorated on getting half the reps. You know what I mean? So it's a sense of that Jerry Krause from The Last Dance, like the organization is bigger than the player type. I felt like he felt like he put that team together, so he was the one that made all of the correct decisions, but that wasn't the case to me.
So you go and play in Buffalo for a season. When did you know that it was time to hang it up?
I knew it was time to hang it up before I went to Buffalo. I mean, because, you know, they say once you start thinking about retirement, it's pretty much time to let it go. But it was one thing that that Dave Gettleman said that I ain't gonna just lie, hurt the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? When he said my skills had deteriorated, I was like, really? I'm gonna show you. So I bust my tail that summer. You know what I'm saying? I went on up to Buffalo, became the second string running back. I didn't even play fullback. I became the second string running back. You know what I'm saying? And that was a great team. Helped that team go to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. You know what I mean? And then once I got done with that season, you know, I actually had an opportunity to sign other contracts or go back and sign back with Buffalo. And I was like, I'm good. I proved what I was set out to prove. That I still had it, and I could still play to this day if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I'm good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What would you say looking back on your career, what would you say your biggest challenge was?
My biggest challenge was, I ain't never been asked that question. What was my biggest challenge? I would probably say weight control. I'm 5'9", 250. Well, I was 250. You know what I mean? To stay in shape, eating right. You know what I'm saying? I've always been one of the ones that had to get on the scale every week, make sure my weight was right, so I didn't get fined. You know, all that stuff. But I know guys like my boy Stu. He could be 260 one day and work out one time and be 243 the next, which I hate. But you know what I mean? It's just that body type. You know what I mean? That was my biggest challenge, was maintaining my weight. Okay.
So now you're retired. When you talk about retirement, was that something? Did you have a plan? Did you have a plan, or were you one of the type of players that, you know, football is all I have. Football is all I know. I don't know what I'm going to do when I retire.
I mean, football was everything to me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I didn't have a plan as far as like what I wanted to do when I was done. I had lanes that I could go down. Obviously, the past couple of years, I've done some media stuff, radio and TV stuff with the Panthers that I'm not going to continue to do. That I'm not going to continue to do. But I had different lanes that I wanted to try to explore, you know what I mean? Because I'm not sure what life was going to bring. I wasn't sure what life was going to bring. I'm not sure what my next step's going to entail. So I'm just trying to spread my wings and encompass everything, do it all. If I see opportunity on something, I'm going to take it. You know what I mean? So like right now, I got a trucking company that I'm running. You know, my wife and I are about to open some gyms here in Charlotte. You know, whatever. If there's an opportunity and it looks good, I'm going to be involved with it.
Now you work closely with the NFL Legends organization. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, NFL Legends, you know, each team has their own pretty much sector of it. They do so much. Like next week, I'm hosting a Zoom call for some kids from Charlotte with that's in the Special Olympics. You know what I mean? So I'm hosting a Zoom call workout. So I'm putting them through a workout on Zoom next week. You know, so there's a lot of things that we do. We get together. Mike Rucker put together a workout at Flywheel. You know what I mean? Just stuff to stay organized and stay together. You know, because the NFL is a brotherhood. You know, whether you play one year or 10 years, you know, we need to all hang out together and maintain that solidarity.
Any more philanthropy work that you have going on in the community?
Right. Well, I did. I had my Spade Foundation, my Tolbert Family Spade Foundation, Spade for single parenting and development education. Right now, we're not doing a whole lot, you know, just because of the pandemic and, you know, the transition from not playing to playing. Just kind of want to let our feet and let the dust settle off of a long career. You know what I mean? But we'll get back to doing some things. We wanted to also support other, you know, foundations and stuff. So, you know, I'll go out and I'll support Jonathan Stewart if he's doing something, or Thomas Davis with his Defending Dreams Foundation, you know, Foundation for the Carolinas, the Food Bank. We'll go out and support all that stuff. You know, my oldest daughter, Michaela, a couple years ago, she came up with the idea that instead of presents, she wanted to go uptown Charlotte and feed the homeless. Okay. So we do that every year for her birthday now. So that's becoming a huge thing now. Is like all of our family, a lot of old teammates, friends, and family come out, and we go to my house and we make gift bags. We make sandwich bags with chips and cookies, and drinks, and a toiletries bag with deodorant, soap, you know, water, stuff like toothbrush, toothpaste, and we just go uptown Charlotte and we just hand them out to the people that's on the street. You know what I'm saying? That's what she loves to do. So that's what we do that now. And I mean, we like supporting everybody else, not just trying to do our own thing.
All right. A few more things I want to touch on before I let you get out of here, man. With the NFL concussion protocol, man, what should the NFL do to limit some of these concussions?
I mean, I honestly don't think you can limit it. You know what I mean? The thing I saw one day was that all this police brutality stuff going on, you know, it's not new, been a shed, you know, but everything. That's what the focus is now on the concussions with the NFL. It's just everybody just shedding a light on it now. Like, people have concussions probably daily in the game. I mean, I know for a fact there's been times that I've had concussions that I, you know what I'm saying, was able to shake off really quick. You know what I mean? I've been dazed a few times, you know, without being a documented concussion. You know what I mean? It's those things where they come and they go. I mean, some people have them worse than others, but I mean, it's a risk that you take playing this game.
Right. Another thing I want to touch on, and you just spoke about in terms of the police brutality. What are your thoughts on the George Floyd situation?
I think it's tragic. I mean, but I think it's another instance in Black and brown people being oppressed by the police in this country. You know, I've always said that I'm gonna support my Blackness to the fullest, but also that we can't continue to expect a system to protect us that was never designed for us. You know what I mean? So we got to vote the right people in office that's going to change this system. And then what's really inspiring to me is that when you see all these protests, you know, it's going on because of the George Floyd killing, you see so many young 17, 18-year-olds, people that's going to be ready to vote this year that are out there that are outraged because it's senseless and it doesn't need to happen. You know what I mean? So there's so many people that seen, you know what I'm saying, this happen is crazy. That you look at people in Amsterdam and Australia and Paris and, you know, Africa, like people are protesting the world for our freedoms. You know what I mean? So it's not something that's just seen here, like they see it across too, you know. So I'm extremely encouraged by the outcry. And then also you look at the egregiousness of the murder. You know what I'm saying? Like I know for a fact there's all type of doubt in people's minds when a police officer shoots an unarmed black man. Oh, well, what was he doing? Was he reaching for something? You know, was he moving suspiciously? Was he trying to run? You know, people are always gonna say something. But with George Floyd, handcuffed behind his back with a cop knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even the most racist person can look at that and say, damn, that's wrong. You know what I mean? So that's why I think we see it from, because one, COVID-19 has got everybody in the house looking at this stuff. And two, because when you see it, you know that's messed up, whether you like black people or not. That's not how it's supposed to be done.
Right. All right, two-part question, man. What are your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick kneeling? And if you were still playing today, would you kneel during the national anthem?
My thoughts on Colin Kaepernick kneeling is it's been 3-4 years now since he started the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing has still been going on. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. You know, I definitely think he's been blackballed by the NFL, by the owners, by the GMs, and by Roger Goodell. You know, I am 100% in his favor for it. You know, police brutality is something that's real to black and brown people all across this country. You know, I can't say I've been beaten but I've been racially profiled and stopped and pulled over and handcuffed and all that stuff, you know, for no reason. You know, I've been asked, what kind of job you got to afford a car like this? You know what I mean? Stuff that it doesn't bother you. As long as my license and registration are good and insurance is good, give me my damn speeding ticket and let me go. You know what I mean? And as far as kneeling, I've done it, and I would continue to do it if I was in the NFL. You know, so I was one of those guys that kneeled when their president said that all of us are sons of bitches and should be fired immediately. I took a knee that day, and that was like on a Tuesday. Like I'm all for equality, but all for black power too.
Exactly. What's next for Mike Tolbert? Any interest in film, TV? What's next on your agenda?
Well, you know, I got one of the best managers out there right now, Rhonda. You know, she's helping me do some stuff. I'm looking to get started, man. I feel like I'm charismatic and confident enough in who I am to going into these auditions or different roles or whatnot and get some stuff done. But I would like to do some stuff that she lines up for me. You know, I'm also very, very business oriented. So I'm looking for opportunities to invest. I'm looking for opportunities to start my own businesses. Like I said, I got 4 businesses now that I'm currently involved in, and to do a couple. So I'm available, man. I'm looking to be as diverse as possible.
All right, man. Last thing, Mike, man, this segment of the show is called Free Game, man. I want you to give some free game to these young kids out here that aspire to be successful. It doesn't have to be in sports. It can just be in life, man. Just give them some free game.
Gotcha. Free game from me is don't believe the hype. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe that in order to be successful, you got to pick up a ball or sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of cats that I grew up with that went the wrong way. I know a lot of cats that I grew up with that went the right way. You know what I'm saying? Pick up a book. You know what I'm saying? Read. Reading is powerful. You know what I mean? I read a lot. Also, real estate. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that's being made. God ain't making no more land. You know what I'm saying? Pick up a book about real estate. Get into flipping houses. Follow the right accounts on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Follow these people that's doing things the right way so that knowledge can breed into your head and you can think about, doing something different other than, going to buy that pair of J's for $250. Put $250 in a stock. You know what I'm saying? Just read, man. That knowledge is powerful.
There you have it, man. Mike, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, coming on the show, man. I wish you nothing but the best and success in the future, man. Hopefully down the road, man, when this COVID-19 is over, man, I can get you back on the show in person. We can chop
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir. I'm with it, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. I had a good time doing it.
All right, man. Sports Talk with PlayerAgent3.